getting to the point, but taking the scenic route to get there. This is the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score.
I'm Mike Hebert, owner of Cantex Roofing and Construction. Every day is game day, and we'll get it right when it comes to your roofing, construction, windows, and mirrors. Call Cantex Roofing and Construction today. Together, we are one serving you.
Clint Scott,
have you
Snead, Ben Foreman behind the glass?
We've done one Christmas already. Are you having multiple Christmases? Are you doing that?
That is the second one's kind of up in the air right now. Because we're gonna go to my family. We do the alternate thing between my wife and I. We're at wife's side for Thanksgiving. We haven't decided what we're gonna do at the end. If we do, it'll be closer to New Year's. But I think as of now, we're just going to do the one. But we've done the multiple.
Yeah,
before.
So we did my daughters and us. We did that, and it was kind of funny because the number of gifts opened up with pictures of something in it. This is what you're gonna get.
Oh,
didn't make
like,
it yet.
It's like an IOU is what it sounds like.
I had two. My wife had one. No, she had two. Kailey had three. Shelby had one. Cassidy had one. Of course, all you know. But yeah, I've got a couple things coming here.
So you know what'll be popping up at some point, but you can't actually have it yet.
Yeah.
It's
good, but it's a fun deal. I mean, but we're gonna go to North Carolina, and we're gonna do the Christmas there with the entire family, my sisters,
sweet.
my mom, my in-laws, and everything like that. And that's we're going across country. It's a gift card exchange.
Yeah,
and we'll do
which I'm okay with. Like, I think especially when you get into bigger groups.
Yeah, we got 16.
I mean, like for me, I'm not trying to say, hey, don't get gifts, people. But like for me, I would rather just go like when you get into a big group, let's not worry about presents because now that's an extra added stress. Like let's just get together and hang out. And there's already so many things you have to figure out anyway, especially like in that case, right? You got to figure out travel. Yeah. You got to figure out budget. Yeah. You got to figure out meals. Yeah. All of these things. Like let's not stress about the present. Like we've done this a couple times with our family. As soon as someone's like throwing that out there, we'll be like, great idea. Yeah. Brilliant.
Well, I say all that because I think Joey McGuire opened up several presents today.
He did. It was
early Christmas for him, wasn't it?
Early signing period. By 9 a.m., every single high school recruit that you had committed to you was signed.
That's awesome.
And, the biggest one that you were obviously like looking forward to was Micah Hudson. He's your headliner. He's your highest ever signed recruit. He's a 5-star. But it goes so much past him, right? Like there's so much depth in this class, and you can look at the transfer portal too. I think 8 offensive linemen.
Yeah,
I believe
that's a huge,
and that's massive.
The number of offensive linemen in this draft. This signing
draft
class, and then with the portal signings, the transfer class. I mean, I think this is interesting. I mean, with the portal transfer grade, and then you get the actual class grade. I'm excited about the future here, and I mean, those of you that aren't willing, that haven't been willing, that have been willing to jump off the McGuire bandwagon because it didn't happen, 30 seconds in. I mean, I would say take a look at the recruiting, man. That's just, you hadn't recruited at this level in a long time.
And that's the thing. This is going to be, if you are, because I've seen this a couple of times. I'm not, trying to start a fire or call anybody out, but I have seen a couple of times on the old chat board. They're like, well, this coaching staff can't develop. I was like, it's too early. Like these are the years you're going to start seeing if they can develop, right? Because now you're just getting your guys in, and every year the recruiting is getting better.
That's an uneducated take, and that seems like a take from somebody that just wants to lob a grenade at somebody because, and most likely it's because that's not the guy that they wanted to hire. And so they start looking for kinks in the armor. You can't say it's not a great recruiter because he's recruiting his ass off right now. And so you say, well, they can't develop anybody. How do you know? They've only been here. This is their third class.
Mm-hmm.
And the guys that he showed up with, and the guys that were from that first class, you're starting to see guys. Hey, Washington remember that guy Saturday night that was wreaking havoc all over the backfield of Cal?
Mm-hmm.
Guy was one of the first classes. So I mean, hey, not to borrow one of Chuck's takes, but maybe let the cake bake a little bit before you start lobbing grenades.
Mm-hmm. So, like, this is where you go back to the hiring process, right? And you had like Trailer involved, and you had some other names, and you know it was pretty split on everyone. When you have these targeted names, everyone kind of has their guy, right? And you can have your guy and also be like, but you know, if you do get that guy, I'll be okay with it. Or you can go firm wall built up. If it's not this guy that I like, that I want, I'm not going to be happy about it. You're doing this basing off of, you know, pros and cons of what the coaches bring to the table, right? And the biggest box that McGuire checked was the connections in Texas and the recruiting part. And so
That's
you were going,
exactly right.
You have to wait and see on the X's and O's, and you're going, you have to wait and see on the developing side. Well, now you're getting into where you're getting into this season and then the season after. Well, you'll get I think a full scale view of the other parts of the developing, and then to some extent more of the X's and O's side. Although I think he's done a good job of knowing what he's good at and what he needs help with from the staff. So has it been, was this year perfect? No, but again, you're building blocks right now, and this was a fantastic day for Texas Tech.
Yep, absolutely.
And for the program.
And I mean, I have a hard time finding a lot of fault in this class right now. Hey, on paper, this is a great class. This is great building blocks, and you filled a lot of needs. I mean, are we going to know? I mean, it's 2 years from now, you're going to find out. And by the way, part of that development is a lot on that kid too, because it's managing players and coaching expectations, because a lot of times, what a 5-star doesn't think they have to do a lot? Work hard. And we used to giggle at UT when they signed their class of 4 and 5 stars every year, and then they underachieve. Why? Because they all think they're the best guy out there, and they don't think they have to work very hard. Because they're just, hey, I'm a 5-star. I don't need to do that. And sooner or later, these 5 stars find out I actually do have to do that. I love a 5-star, and I'm hopeful that Micah Hudson comes in here and blows us away. That guy jumps in and is what he can be. But if he's not, a 5-star is essentially plug and play. But he's not the biggest guy in the world. He's a special dude, but he's going to have to make some adjustments to the Division I football game, because he was a 4A kid. Is that correct? 5A? He didn't play at the 6A level. I know that.
No.
But so there's going to be a gap that he's going to have to make up. Now, being the level of type of recruit that he is, we're saying that this is the kind of kid that walks onto your campus on that first day. He's a guy that can be in your 2 deep right now.
Well, I think he could have, if he was here early, he could have played like this year with what you got out of your receivers as a senior in high school. But I agree. I think the best news that I think happened for Micah Hudson was, one, the continued development and good showing of Coy Aiken, Mason Tharp, hopefully getting healthy for next year, and then the additions of like Jalen Conyers from Arizona State, you're hopefully really talented tight end, Josh Kelly, Douglas from Florida. You're adding and hopefully improving the wide receiver room around him, so you can go with the hopes of, man, he's going to be a number 1 alpha dog day one. But this is hopefully setting up to where he doesn't have to be, right? To where if it's not just crushing at day one, he's got some room to develop with it, because you have some better guys around him. Like I think the Josh Kelly addition,
that's huge,
was massive.
Huge. Because he's going to need, and I say that Mike is going to need someone to show him the way, because just because you're a 5-star recruit doesn't mean that you know what it's like to do this at the Division I level on day one and having some guys show him the way. And Mike needs to be that. He needs to be open and coachable when these guys, someone takes him under his wing. He needs to be open to that.
I want to get to something else with this class on the other side. It's the bottom line, 100.7 the score.
Getting to the point, but taking the scenic route to get there. This is the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 the score.
It is the bottom line. You've got us on 100.7 the score and 107thescore.com. Clint Scott, Chris Snead, Ben Porman behind the glass. Lady Raider basketball looking to bounce back in the Maui Classic tonight. They lost to Tulsa yesterday, their first loss of the season. Oregon State is undefeated. They had a little bit of what you had going on, though. Oregon State hasn't really seen anyone yet, so certainly the ability to bounce back tonight.
Neither had we, but sure. I don't want to hear that Tulsa was somehow good.
No. I'm not saying that at all.
I just think that I don't know. I mean, it would have been nice being able to watch that game, maybe at a decent hour, but it's okay.
11 o'clock start time. You can hear that on, just like last night, both on 107.7 Yes FM and 100.7 the score.
So wake up and hear about it.
You're talking about the recruiting class that you got signed today, Snead, and something else that I think was a really, really big positive outside of, that this is an incredible class that includes the best, highest rated signee that you've ever had, first 5-star, all the things we knew you were headed for. The thing that I think was positive is when you talk about like the connections from coach to player and then from coach to high school coaches too, that is certainly a positive with Coach McGuire. Something that I think was really impressive with not just him but a couple of players in this class was the ability, it wasn't like, hey, you beat out this guy who also had interest from SMU and North Texas, like big boy programs you were fighting off, and now you're starting to be in those discussions with recruits, and then not just recruiting against those guys, being successful, and then to me, like with the long haul with Micah Hudson, was the ability to fend off those programs.
Yeah, the funny part, I saw a tweet last week. Sorry, I saw an X last week.
An X'd. X'd.
And somebody pointed out, said Matt Wells routinely won battles with North Texas, SMU, and Texas State.
Yeah.
Joey McGuire is winning battles with Georgia and Oklahoma and Texas.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's just a different pond to swim in. And no matter what you think, no matter what you want to say, even Leach in his heyday, the one that everybody was, oh my God, the best coach we ever had, he didn't win a whole lot of battles with recruiting wise with Texas and A&M and OU. He won a lot with Baylor and Houston and North Texas and those. He didn't win a whole lot of battles with the big boys. But to his credit, in his offense, he didn't have to. Because he could take a bunch of 2 and 3 stars and beat you, because it was his offense was about execution. Is I'm going to beat you to this spot because I want to get to that spot more than you want to get to that spot. And that's the difference. We're operating in a different timetable, a different realm, if you will. And just if you can't be excited about the level of it just looks different, feels different. I mean, this class. I mean, it's like, hey, your class is ranked in the top 25. I mean, your high school class is ranked in the top 25. Your transfer class is ranked in the top 10. Your overall class is going to be ranked in the top 15 probably when all is said and done. Transfer and high school class. This is a new day, man. This ain't Spike Dykes days, man, where we're glad to be playing a game with these guys. And I love Spike, and I say that with full jest right there. But Spike would say stuff like that. We're glad to be on the same field with them today. Josh am I. I mean, I think that was one of the things that, we would just take guys that wanted to be here. We wanted to have guys that wanted to be here. And now, hey, we're blowing it out here. But here's the other thing, guys. It doesn't matter what you do today. Because at the end of the day, with NIL, I mean, there's a good chance that half the guys we just signed today out of the high school class won't be here next year.
Right. There's two sides because you have the excited side, and you should be, but you can also fairly have the cynic side, right?
Exactly.
Like, okay, well, how many of these guys are going to play meaningful snaps for you 2 years from now?
That's
and
a
I
great
think
question.
it's fair because that's the world that we live in. But as far as instantly changing how you view something with Texas Tech and recruiting in football, that has been in the long scheme of things has felt like an overnight change, right? It's been 2.5 years, but in the long scheme of coaching and how you build these things from not a traditional recruiting powerhouse, and I'm not saying you're there yet, I'm just saying you're certainly closer to that talk than you have been ever. And the other side of that is, okay, well, now the developing side is a fair question, and it's not because he hasn't done it yet. Just you haven't seen the program be able to reap the rewards of it because just from time, right? Like you have to have time to do that.
Yeah.
And now you're getting into those stages, and so then the question turns in: can you continue to do that? And more importantly, how many wins do you get out of these guys? Because that's what's important, and that's what you'll find out in the coming seasons. So, but overall, a great day. And something else too is, they are aware the holes that you have on the roster, right? And what have they targeted the past 2 seasons? Defensive line, offensive line.
Yep. It is a it's glaring holes, and and Matt Wells, bless his heart, he's a good dude, and he tried, but he said it. You ask him what you need to do. We got to get old. I mean, and at the end of the day, as much as I like Matt Wells, hey Matt, you're a 6-6, 7-5 coach. You were that at Utah State, except for those 2 magical years you had Jordan Love when you won 10 games and 8 games, respectively. Outside of that, pretty much a 6-6, 7-5 coach. And you came here, and it's pretty much what you were. Love you, dude. I love you. You're a great dude. I'll send you Christmas wishes and everything, but you didn't recruit very well here. And you should have come here and blown it out recruiting-wise, and you didn't. And that's the reality of it. And
well, and the other side of that, the plan with it of going, hey, I'm going to focus more on getting old instantly and really not focusing in on the building blocks that you still have to have, because you have to mesh both.
Yeah.
Well, you were behind the 8 ball when McGuire showed up.
You really were. It's because those guys went from trying to get older in certain positions to trying to just get old, and they kind of pushed the envelope to where you had no depth on the back end, and you weren't backfilling with high school athletes to make up that gap. Consequently, the job that McGuire did last year to get that program to where it was is phenomenal. And to come back with it this year, I mean, we thought we were probably going to be a little bit better. We're probably about 10 plays from being 9-3 as opposed to 6-6. But you don't get to have that column. There's no column that says, but you add these 10 plays over here and you get to,
right.
You don't get to do that. You play the games you play, and you win the games you win, you lose the games you lose. But I just think the future is bright here. Yeah, hey, can we tighten up the analytics stuff here? And we don't have to go for as many things on our side of the field on 4th down. Yeah, probably make some bigger decisions. He's growing as a head coach.
Yeah, I mean, this is, and no one is saying this. This is something that you have a lot of room to grow from throughout the staff on how to, I think, consistently use your best players and put them in the best spots. And no one's called a perfect game in their life as a play caller. But that's something that could, certainly be improved, and then working on getting these guys to consistently execute. And that's all things that hopefully will be improved next year. And I think that they're aware of as well, but it certainly helps when you add talent. sometimes talent covers mistakes. So
Oh, absolutely.
the more that you pour into that,
it gives you a bigger margin for error. That's all it is. I mean, you can. I would bet a 5-star guy is gonna probably have a little bit more margin for error than a 3-star or a 2-star guy.
Yeah. We will have a play of the day and Kailey's dailies when we come back. We'll also get some of your thoughts and comments off the Yates Flooring Center chat line. You've got the bottom line on 100.7 The Score.
Bringing you the truth, or something like the truth. This is the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score.
It is the bottom line. Happy Wednesday. You've got us on 100.7 The Score and 107thescore.com. Clint Scott, Chris Snead, Ben Porman. Let's jump right into a play of the day.
Gotta go with 3 on a shot clock. Maupin looks, throws it up, and got it! What a shot, Bailey Maupin!
I know obviously we didn't win that game, not the outcome we expected, but I just wanted to give my man Mark Finkner a little airtime.
Sure.
We also Mark Finkner.
Yeah. We'll always welcome in some Fink.
Oh,
Yeah.
boy!
One of the greatest people I've ever met, Mark Finkner.
Mark Finkner is good, great people.
Yeah.
And I've known Mark since he was this little-known guy. The first time I heard this guy doing Texas Tech baseball, who is this guy? And I've gotten to know him over the years, and he is as quality a person as there is out there. And I love him. And I remember going to his wedding in Plainview, and they played "Take Me Out to the Ball Game" as they walked down the aisle. After when they left, the recessional was "Take Me Out to the Ball Game." It was great, and I was like, so fitting.
He even started his career in Plainview while he was a student here at Tech.
Yeah, he sure did. And was he a Plainview high school baseball guy?
That's correct.
Yeah, and he was. I know he was he's from Petersburg. He's a P-burger.
P-burger.
and he did high school basketball, and he was calling the games in high school as a student. I mean, just a great voice, great passion. And, it's like, if you want to know what Snead doing play-by-play sounds like, this is Mark Finkner, except that he's coherent Mark Finkner.
Let's go into Kailey's daily, shall we? Coherent Finkner horse name, by the way.
I didn't realize that we were that far behind. Clint.
Yes, sir.
Oh, there's Ben.
There's Ben.
Right. Ooh, looks like waste. Oh, okay. I see you. Clint.
Yes, sir.
Ben. What 2 things do king cobras fear? We talked about the king cobras. Yeah.
I'm going to take a swing and say first one is mongooses.
That's one. What's the other?
Fire.
No. Honey badgers.
That too.
And so Kailey says, thanks.
Giant rocks getting thrown on
Thanks,
them.
B-Money. Today we'll find out exactly what makes mongoose cobra-proof. Mongooses
Still bothers me.
It-
Mongoose.
are small ferret-like mammals that are typically found in most countries in Africa. These small mammals are terrestrial. They're not extra, though.
They're not.
And their fur colors vary from reddish-brown to the subtle brown stripes that help them camouflage into their environment. Mongooses, or for Clint, mongoose,
Thank you.
are not picky eaters. They eat meat, fruit, and even bird eggs, which they've been known to throw at tree barks to break open.
Hey, you got to get them open somehow, right? They're not just
Exactly.
going to open themselves.
So what makes a cobra run from the hills from a mongoose? First off, they're much faster than cobras. Cobras usually move at the rate of...
Is it miles per hour? I don't even know
Yes,
what
miles per hour.
15 miles per hour.
You almost said it. 12 miles per hour, while mongoose can reach over 20 miles an hour. Second, mongoose, or properly mongooses, have extremely sharp and strong teeth and have been known to break the bones of cobras if they sink their teeth into them.
Oh.
Finally, mongooses geese have the best fighting chance to beat a cobra due to the fact that mongoose are immune to most venoms.
Hey, how about that?
Immunity.
Immunity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like Aaron Rodgers. They've been immunized. Mongoose possess a genetic mutation that allows their blood cells to defend against venom if they are injected from its enemies. How about that? I give you the mongoose.
The mongoose.
Let us not forget Clint's remarks on Monday. The children of mongooses, mongoslings.
Yeah, they should be mongoslings.
Mongoslings.
They
That's
should
right.
call them mongoose. Mongooses does not. It just doesn't. We have the blueprint, right?
Yes.
We have a geese to a goose, a gosling to a goose. Why are we going mongooses? It would just be easier. We're taking out a syllable for everybody. Just saying, feels more natural. Mongooses just feels weird to say.
It is.
There you go. The mongoose. This on the Yates Flooring Center chat line from El Jefe. Joey McGuire. Haters are having a hard day today.
Oh, they really
Agreed.
are. They really, really are.
Mm-hmm. Tyler says, agreed about WebMD. It's the same with dogs and cats. Straight to the vet.
Yep, it is.
Yeah.
It is. I shouldn't have done it. I mean, but I did it anyway. Here's the thing. I was probably going to end up in the emergency room anyway because I was scared to death at the size my ankle looked like I, had taken a hammer to it, and it just made me nervous. But after I read the WebMD thing, other parts of my body started feeling like, oh my God, is my face locking up?
It's like, it might be right. I think I do have leprosy.
I better go find out if I got.
There you've gone.
got
You start going like shared symptoms of
Exactly.
everything that it could be.
Oh my
And you start
gosh.
to feel the other symptoms
I've got
of that
the
disease.
gout. I got to get out of here.
I haven't been able to feel either arm for the last 30 minutes.
I know, it was crazy. So I just said, okay, I'm just going to go.
You start going through like, do I have a new disease? Are they going to call this the Chris Snead?
Yeah.
Like,
And when I walk
It's
out of there
over for me.
under my own power, they just say, you're perfectly healthy.
yeah, I know.
You don't have a blood clot. You don't have any lesions in your brain. You don't have anything like that. You're good. You probably just overdid it.
Miraculous healing.
I
As
walked
soon as you
out of
walk
there.
in from the
And there's
WebMD.
nothing like having one of your daughter's high school friends be the nurse there.
Oh.
Yeah. Thank you, Maddie.
Uh,
Nurse Maddie Billingsley.
This on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Clint on Jamie on a deserted island. Jamie just thought he could be there by himself. Then he hears Clint and is trying to ignore Clint like it was all alone. Funny skit. That would be, Jamie's nightmare. Clint is a leper. Kick me out. Tyler says Mon Guy as another
Come
entry.
on, guy.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to drive a nail through your head and you'll still laugh.
Oh, yeah. Please do. I'm almost there this week. I'm
You're
almost
such
there.
a suck
I'll
up.
just lay down.
You're just such a suck up.
This from South Texas Ambassador Preston.
Mm-hmm.
Went to St. Croix for my honeymoon, and mongooses are all over the island and is the island's celebrity animals.
Nice. We started calling JoJo, granddaughter number 2, the honey badger, because she don't give a blank. And she'll do anything, man. Kid is fearless. But Kailey on Monday night properly said we probably ought to be calling her the mongoose. Because mongooses they'll get after anything, man.
I gotta say, to the, that being the island celebrity animal,
Mm-hmm.
if I was anywhere near like a heavily infested snake territory,
I'd
the
want
mongoose
mongooses.
would also be my favorite animal.
Exactly,
I'd be
too.
a huge fan of the
That
mongoose.
mongoose is going to go over there and get him some.
You know what? If they want to go by mongooses, if they're the ones that started this, I take back my mongoose remark. But I know it's not them
I wonder,
calling
can
us
you-
this.
Can you domesticate a mongoose? I mean, I live out. I'm essentially. I mean, I know I live in a cul-de-sac in a neighborhood, but I'm essentially 2 houses away from the country.
I think if you're dedicated enough,
I mean, we can
You
hear
can have
we can hear the
anything as
coyotes
a
at
pet.
night where we
Yeah.
are.
can you like, hey, this is Monty. He's my pet mongoose.
Yes.
Had him since he was a pup. Kit.
Gosling.
A Mongosling. Yeah. Well, what am I guessing? It's right
What are
there.
you taking? A mongoose.
A weaselet? I don't know.
Mongoose. Goose. Baby. Is what? A pup.
Oh yeah.
Baby mongooses are called
How about
pups.
that?
And a group of pups is called a
Pack.
litter.
Oh, duh. I should have had that. Man, just missed it. Just missed it by that much.
Mongoose baby.
Yeah, you know what? Not only would they be my favorite animal, I would have, if I lived in a heavily infested area with snakes. It would be absolutely my pet. I would absolutely have a pet mongoose. You know what? Your active duty here is you're the guard mongoose.
You are.
For one thing and one thing only. Anything slithery and snaky.
Yeah.
Yeah, take them out.
Nice.
Mongosling wheat strain.
No show tomorrow.
Correct. We'll have men's basketball.
Men's basketball Jones. I'll be at the basketball game. Will you go with?
Yeah, it should be. Mm-hmm.
Okay, sweet.
And then we'll have one more show after that this week and pre-Christmas. And
then I'll be off to Carolina. Head to Carolina, tails California.
You're here on Friday, right?
Huh?
You're here on Friday.
On Friday. And then as soon as it's over with, I'm out.
That's good. All right. Well, we'll see you on Friday.
Word.
Have a good rest of your Wednesday, dude.
Yes, sir.
It is The Bottom Line. You've got us on 100.7 The Score.
Bringing you the truth, or something like the truth. This is The Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score.
It's time for the fastest growing game show in the world, Take versus Take. You've got The Bottom Line on 100.7 The Score and 107thescore.com. I have your questions today. DJ Clint on the track, which means Lil Crouton and John Ben Jovi will duke it out. Lock horns. Face off. For the right to have a big old Take versus Take smile on their face the rest of the day. We excited?
We are excited.
Together? Ben, you in the zone? Yeah. Ben, you in the zone? Yeah. Aggressive? Oh, he's actually in the zone. Showing me the zone he's in. All right, well, let's just let's get your guys' answer on this. Your own individual answer. I've made the jokes. But if you were trapped on an island, what is the last thing you'd want to see wash on the shore? Ben, we'll switch this up. Ben, I'll let you go first.
I think that's one of the easiest answers, and that's one of those coral snakes who are by far the most poisonous snakes on the face of the earth. I see that, and I'm like, Lord, rapture me right now. Right here, right now.
The coral snake. I like it. I don't like it, but I like it. I like where your head's at. Good answer.
I'm going to go with an entire group of PETA protesters who will not allow me to kill animals to nourish myself and stay alive.
How would you like it if you were stabbed by a spear, huh? Okay, yeah. I like your answer. Jamie gets the point. That would be. I like that it was a whole legion of them, like a whole boat.
Yeah, bunch of angry women. Probably, pushing offensive lineman size, probably hairy armpits. Yeah.
The problem is they're not going to
probably don't smell good even before they ended up on a deserted island. They're going to smell even worse after all their protesting and up and down the beach. The worst thing is you're happy you killed something, right? Yeah, let's go build a fire. And then they're like protesting. No, you can't do it.
Yeah.
Keeping me from being able to eat. And
you're cutting down a tree for fire? What? To stay? The nice thing is you're going to way outlive them on that island.
Yeah, well, and they're also not going to protest quietly. So, it's all the above.
Yeah, there's a lot of... They somehow have fake blood to throw on you. I'm not even wearing like a fur coat. You animal. You monster.
I will be, though.
Oh, well, yeah. After a few weeks of catching rabbits and stuff.
I'm going to be... Yeah.
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 Eventually you'd get so annoyed you wouldn't even be eating some of the things. You'd just be killing to kill just to see their reaction.
Yeah, make myself like a fur Speedo out there on the deserted island. All of the above, man. Maybe a fur singlet.
I think you can bring it back once you survive in a new style. They'll call it the crouton. Yeah, it's a fur Speedo. Not a lot of give on those, I would assume, on the old pelt Speedo. All right.
A lot of gifts.
I think they call that a European. All right. Jamie's up 1-0. Just we're on some road trips, and people are about to head on more road trips. So I'm going to give you 3 road trip items of any kind. Can be food, can be whatever you want. What do you have to have on a road trip? 3 things.
Mountain Dew, Cheddar Chex Mix, and Starburst.
Starburst, huh?
Yeah, it helps me to stay focused, stay awake when I'm chomping on something chewy like that.
Yeah. Okay.
Stay dialed in, Clint.
Stay down.
On my toes.
Do you have Starburst in there in the pack? Like, oh, eating the yellow.
No.
You like them all?
I like them all.
I couldn't tell you the last time I've had a Starburst.
And the ones that are in the bag where they're already unwrapped, not nearly as good as the real ones that you have to take the wrapper off every single one.
Well, they've individually held the flavor on those ones, right?
Yeah, I don't know what the deal is. But
And the little roll of Starburst that you get. Okay.
So I personally haven't traveled a bunch to determine items I may need/want for the road trip, but give me just water. I'm not crazy about soft drinks or alcoholic beverages. God forbid alcoholic beverages.
Hopefully, it's like a road beer. That's what I need on a road trip.
Heck no.
I need 3 things, and they're all 3 shots of whiskey. So let's get this road trip started.
Yeah, I'll just have water be a little solid foundation there. Probably add in a Reese's to it. Big peanut butter guy, peanut butter chocolate guy. And in my past, I was real big on pretzels. I still kind of am. I just trying to hold down the grains for the.
The only thing that gets Jamie the point here is he had caffeine involved on his.
I
love water on a road trip, but I have to have caffeine of some kind.
The thing about water on a road trip to me, and maybe it's because I'm much older than you two young men, if I drink water, I'm going to have to stop more.
Well, that's why you have the empty bottle still.
Yeah, it's not how I roll.
Then you don't have to stop anymore.
Yeah, it's not how I roll.
That's what cruise control was invented for. Cruise control and car bottles.
Not happening.
If you're a little iffy, you just bring an old ice cream bucket that's emptied, just to be safe. A lot of surface area, hard to miss.
I've had to do that one time in my life. It was Chris Level's fault. Yeah, just gonna say that. It's Chris Level's fault. He made me.
He made you?
I had to take him somewhere. We were at the Final Four together. And I remember leaving and we're like, I'll just swing him by his hotel and then I'll head to my hotel. And we got in the Houston traffic and it was just a disaster. And I'm like, I'm not going to make it to my hotel. So
I hope it went well for you. Yeah. Obviously, it scarred you where if it's only happened once. All right. It is Christmas list season. You've seen the early signing day list for Texas Tech. Got everybody that you wanted that was coming here by 9 a.m., by the way, from the high school ranks. I just want to know if there was an unexpected 5-star of any position, who do you think Joey McGuire would want? Ben? Ben doesn't know.
I am going to go offensive lineman. I think he's going to take an offensive lineman.
Dear Santa, I would like a offensive lineman, 5-star. I like it. Okay.
Since we lost that 360-pound defensive tackle to BYU, unfortunately, I would have to go a run stuffer defensive tackle in addition to the departure of Bradford, or is it Hutchings that's
both,
leaving?
Both.
Oh, both are leaving. Wow.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think either one of those would be it. You have added some offensive line pieces, and not that you haven't on the defensive line, but I still got to go O-line. Still got to go O-line. It was a sweep, but it was, as they say, closer than what it looked on the scoreboard. Good round of take versus take. Jamie is going to be like that elf that was playing pickleball, just jumping around sprightly today.
Sprightly.
Hopping, if you will, like a little bunny.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. A little Jamie-tailed bunny hopping around the office.
Hippity hoppity.
You can hit us up on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Plenty of thoughts and comments to catch up on, too. We'll also have a question of the day when we come back. You've sparked some interesting opinions with your Island Speedo. Oh, man. Make sure to get the one without ticks and fleas. That's a whole other issue.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You know, make sure it's not like a bristly animal. Okay. It is the bottom line of 100.7. The Score back with more next.
Getting to the point, but taking the scenic route to get there. This is the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Kind of a relaxing one.
I've never heard that.
Want to take a swing at who it is?
Yes. Black Sabbath.
Ricky Martin.
It is actually Peter Cetera.
Ah. Is it Pantera? Sorry, I tuned out for a little bit. I'm just kidding.
Ben's getting very crafty on the buttons. I'm a fan.
Is there like a metal compilation Christmas album out there? Because I'd listen to that. I'm sure there is somewhere. I just haven't ever looked for it.
Ask Choice. Probably has
We're
it.
probably not going to ask Choice. He's not going to know. I bet Hacks would probably know.
Yes, maybe
I
so.
bet Hacks would know.
Both of them big Metalachi fans.
It is the bottom line. We got us on 100.7 The Score and 107thescore.com. Clint Scott, Jamie Lent, Ben Porman. You can hit us up on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Thoughts, comments, questions, answers to take versus take questions, or answers to Jamie's question of the day.
All right. We're going to the NFL, gentlemen. I want you to tell me who this year's MVP should be.
Oh.
Feels like it's more up for grabs than in recent years. Maybe because Patrick Mahomes hasn't dominated.
Yeah, I feel like for everyone that you can build a legitimate case up for, you can do the opposite. Like you can tear it down just as easily.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so here's one. Like I think Dak Prescott is a legitimate MVP candidate with what he's been able to do offensively this year. I think playing the best football he has, and obviously it was a disappointing showing for Cowboys fans and for the Cowboys against Buffalo. And so if you're going off recency bias, the last game, sure, not a great performance. No one played well for Dallas.
Why don't you give me your top three?
But I go, like when I think of what they legitimately mean to the team and to the league, I go Dak Prescott, I go Brock Purdy, and Lamar Jackson. Yeah, I'll go those three.
Okay.
Yeah.
Brock Purdy, Dak.
Yeah, Lamar
Okay.
Jackson. I'm not purposely trying to leave out Jalen Hurts either. He's right on the outside for me.
He's on a 2-game losing streak, though.
3.
3. Yeah. But you got to go complete body of work.
Sure. I am going to go a little bit different than you guys. I'm going Brock Purdy. I'm going Tua. And then I'm going Lamar. Okay. Tua might be hurt by the fact that Tyreek Hill is going to be in the mix as well.
Yeah. 100%.
And they might be stealing votes from each other.
Mm-hmm.
One of those deals.
Yeah.
But I think Tua's having a terrific year as well.
Speaking of which, I mean, of Tua and Dak, you've got another road game for the Cowboys. Another important road game for the Dallas Cowboys, and the Cowboys have not really handled those quite so well. But at the same time, for the Dolphins, all of their wins, it just has felt like, I mean, they honestly have done a little bit of what Dallas has done.
Sure.
Where they have pounded teams that they are supposed to. Mm-hmm. And then they face true playoff contenders. I'm not saying Super Bowl contenders, playoff contenders, and they crumble, and they're a completely different team. As far as like that goes, the Dolphins, this is who they end their season with. You have the Cowboys on Sunday, and then they go to Baltimore, and then they have the Bills again.
Buffalo put it on them the first time.
I think you're about to see the Dolphins head in the opposite direction in a hurry, and that's kind of, in my mind, projecting away for me from Tua. Like that's why, as of right now.
Yep,
and I'm not saying he won't have a again, with complete body of work, that he won't still have a valid case, because statistically has been great. That offense has been great. But I think in 3 games time, we'll, at the end of the regular season, be looking at them just a little bit differently.
Yeah, I'm just sitting here looking at the teams that they have beat, and there's not a one of them that has a pulse.
Yeah. They've got the Jets twice. They've beat the Commanders. They've beat the Raiders. They've beat the Patriots. They've beat the Panthers. They've beat the Giants. They've beat the Broncos before the Broncos decided that they would play legitimate football.
Yeah.
Beat the Patriots again. Beat the Chargers. Terrible.
And you're right, man. That's a tough stretch to finish with.
Mm-hmm.
They've got a 2-game lead currently over Buffalo. Tough stretch.
And not that this should matter, but I do think it's an important part of the conversation. Every single one of those teams are playoff caliber, but also playing for something major. Like for the Ravens, at the end, will most likely
number 1 seed.
Yeah. For the Bills, playoff life.
Right. Cowboys, at this point, they're playing for the division.
Yeah. So it is, I think you're going to find out a lot about the Dolphins either way. I just don't think it's going to be good. What I'm saying is I really like the Cowboys this week.
Okay.
On the road.
Really intriguing game, because the Cowboys haven't played good on the road. The Dolphins haven't played good against good teams.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so then if the Dolphins do win, and you could say the same thing on the other side of the conversation for the Cowboys, but if the Dolphins do win, what's the talking point? Is it, oh, they finally beat a good team, or is it, well, it was the Cowboys on the road. They can't do anything on the road anyways. Will it be we have to see them against Baltimore?
Yes is the answer.
Yeah. All of them, everything.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the toughest one for them there is that at Baltimore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Man, I'm sure a Bills fan probably doesn't want to hear this. I'm very excited for that Bills Dolphins matchup, because I think it's going to mean a lot. Because if, as it stands right now, I mean, the Bills need help. They're playing as good as anyone right now.
But they're still on the outside looking in.
Yes. And so that could be one of those where you're seeing the Sunday afternoon window. It's like the Bills get in if they beat the Dolphins, and if this team loses, and this team loses. And then, like, the same thing, the Dolphins will surely be playing for some sort of seeding, you know.
And then if Buffalo gets in, they'll be rewarded with a first-round trip to Kansas City to end their season. No thanks. Just no thanks.
Just we'll miss this year.
Let's have Buffalo not make the playoffs.
If you knew that was, like, legitimately knew that was the outcome, would you rather them just miss this season?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry you are with Chiefs fans. I'm more sorry that you're with Chiefs fans in the building than you are Kansas fans.
Yeah.
Fair?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Super fun.
Yeah. Real fun.
Because the Chiefs are going to get it together. They're going to figure it out. Yeah,
I would like to think so. Somebody put Christian McCaffrey, which is a good one, as well.
I would not argue with that.
I think valid.
I think it's I feel like there are 5 or 6 guys that could win it this year, and none of us would just lose our mind over it.
Yeah, again, I think that's why every single person you can build a case for, you can build a case against, which to me means like I'm not going to die on a hill for any of them, unless it's actually Tyreek Hill. That's for other reasons. But I agree. I think there's a lot of valid candidates this year, but also it's part because no one has just consistently risen above the group.
I don't know. It just feels like right now in the NFL, everybody is chasing the 49ers.
Mm-hmm.
Like at this point, it just feels like if they don't win a Super Bowl, it's going to be a big surprise.
Yeah.
They just look head and shoulders above everybody else.
It is the bottom line on 100.7 The Score and 107thescore.com.
This has been the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score. Go to 100-7thescore.com for more from the Double T Sports Network.